everyone, welcome you all to today's topic, that is class 10th revision. My dear kids, before moving deep into the chapter, the first and foremost key points I want to say you that before reading a poem or before reading a chapter, try to learn all the writer's name, because it's a very essential question, my dear student. It's not only for the half yearly, it's all for your entire career, my dear kids. So the first and foremost thing is you need to read the writer's name. You need to learn the writer's name. For example, in our first flight, the first chapter is A Letter to God. Who has written this? G.L. Florence. And what the central theme of this story, you need to know that. And before that, you need to know who is the protagonist in the story, what happened to the main character, why this story named as A Letter to God, and who are the characters, and what is its hope, my dear kids. So here I won't tell you the entire summary, it's just a key point to help you for your half-yearly upcoming exam. So I need all of you to learn the writer's name of all the chapters, whatever is there in your portions. Right? And the second foremost thing is you need to draw a flowchart in your copy and just write it down, all the characters of that particular chapter, and then try to find out who is the protagonist, what happened to that particular person, and who are the main characters in his or her life. Why the topic is given as A Letter to God? Is there any simile or metaphor? Is there any comparison of a particular thing? For example, like the small drops was compared to coins, right? And the salt bed was considered to be hailstone, right? So in this way, you need to find out what comparison is made, who is the writer and who is the protagonist, and what is the central theme, why the name came as A Letter to God. Now the second chapter we will see, that is Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom. As we all know that it's an autobiography of Nelson Mandela, right? Yes. So why it is a long walk to freedom? Why this topic is given like this? Why it is named, or why this title is named as Long Walk to Freedom? So here you need to see that how Nelson Mandela, what does he fought for? That is, as we all know, apartheid, or the discrimination between black and white. What happened? Where did he give the speech? On which date? How he struggled for getting this freedom? Who are the main characters? So you need to learn all this along with the writer's name. And the third chapter is Two Stories About Flying. Now here who is the main character? Yes, Seagull. Seagull is a main character, and here the seagull is scared of flying high. And why this seagull is afraid? What happened to this seagull? Who are the characters? How she starved? How she is given punishment? How he came to learn flying? So in this way, you need to read the entire chapter. You need to read the writer's name, who are the characters, and all. And here, as we all know, that Two Stories About Flying is divided into two parts. One is this, about seagull, and the other part you need to read the writer's name and what happened to that Dakota 088. Now the fourth chapter is from the diary of Annie Frank. Who is this Annie Frank? Why we have given the title as the diary of Annie Frank? Don't you think that it's a story taken from the diary of Annie Frank? Yes. And what happened? And why she is being lonely despite being surrounded by family and friends? So what is the reason behind this? How was it her schooling? How was her background? So you need to know all this thing along with the characters and the central theme of this chapter. Now the fifth chapter, again there is the name, beautiful name, The 100 Dresses Part 1. That means there is another chapter, that is Part 2. So what happened? Who is the main protagonist here? As we all know, it's a poor girl whose name was Wanda Petronsky. So as we know what happened in the school, how the classmates treat, as you also treat your classmates by giving nicknames and teasing them. Similarly, what happened to this girl and why she was teased by her classmates, and why she was quiet, why she always wear the same faded blue dress to school every day. So what happened at the last, right? And who are the character, who is the friend, who are the friends of this Wanda Petronsky. So you need to go through it in details. Now the chapter 2 or the part 2, that is chapter 6, the 100 dresses, what happened, how the father moved from one place to the other, and what happened at the end to the friend like Maddie and Peggy. So you need to know all about this scenario, right? Okay, let us move to the next chapter, that is Glimpses of India. As we all know that this Glimpses of India is divided into 3 parts. One part was about the Goa, about the baker story. The third part was about the cook, and the last one was tea from Assam. So what happened? What was the scenario of this entire 3 part? Who is the writer? What happened? And how this baker were well known, and how the writer behaved when this baker come when he was a child. What happened in this tea from Assam? Who were the friends? Who were looking outside and looking at the scenario? So you need to find out the characters, the writer's name, and what happened. What is the gist of this story? Now let us move to the next chapter. Miss Bill the Otter. As we all know, this Miss Bill the Otter is a story all about who loves pet, but when his dog Johnny died, he was too sad to think of keeping a dog again. Sorry, this is not the chapter to be included. Let us move to the next chapter. Now, Madam Rides a Bus. What is this Madam Rides a Bus? This is a sensitive, heart-touching story, as we all know that there was a beautiful little girl who was fond of moving in the bus, and that to be first bus journey into the world outside her village, and her name was Vali. And who is the protagonist? Vali. Who is the writer here? You need to find out what happened while moving in the bus, what the conductor used to call her, and what happened, what incident happened, how the cow died. You need to know the entire story, my dear kids. So let us move to the next chapter, that is the sermon at Banaras, right? I think this is also the deleted chapter. Let us move to the next one, the proposal. As we all know, it's a Russian short story writer and dramatist Anton Chekhov. It is a one-act play which was originally titled as The Marriage Proposal. It is all about the tendency of wealthy families. So here you can see the characters: Ivan Lomov, a wealthy neighbor of Stepan, Chubukov, then its daughter Natalia. You need to read all this character, just draw the flowchart and try to find out the characters who are there in the story, then who is the writer, what is the central theme, and what happened in their life, right? So I hope all this concept is clear. If you have any queries, I'll be very happy. Try to call me and ask the doubts as much as possible. So my dear kids, this was all a small gist for your half yearly portion. Try to read all the characters of that particular story, try to read the writer's name, and then try to find out what exactly the story is talking about. So if you have any doubt, just surf in the net. You can find lots of video, or else you can go through the YouTube app which we have already discussed about this particular chapter. If you have any problem, just try to surf that in YouTube and you will find the solution of it, and try to read it out. My dear kids, there is nothing difficult in this English, right? Just the main focus is you need to know the chapter thoroughly. You need to know the characters from where this story belongs to. You need to know the writer name, and this is all done, and you can attempt all the questions whatever it may be, right? So thank you all for watching my audio. For any queries, comments, feedback, do comment on my chat box. Thank you all. Have a nice day.